A Record TV recebeu em estúdio o embaixador de Israel em Portugal para uma entrevista sobre este conflito que parece estar para durar.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you for being with us today. Let's start with a question that is on everybody's mind right now. How is it possible that Israel was surprised by this attack? As you have one of the best intelligence services in all the world, how is this possible, this surprise?
Thank you for having me here today. Look, I think right now we are still in the middle of the fighting. Right now there are still Israeli soldiers, the IDF, working and making sure that no more terrorists will remain on the Israeli soil, and the people of the Israeli people, the Israeli citizens who live in southern Israel will be able to feel safe again. So I don't think right now it's the time to start and investigating and thinking of what mistakes were done. We will have plenty of time for that after the war will end. Right now we need to concentrate in making sure that the safety of the people of Israel will come back.
Today there are already news that the conflict has already escalated to the northern part of Israel. Is this true? What's happening right now that you can help us get to know a little bit?
So it's still ongoing. As you saw, there was some kind of a provocation on the northern border toward one of the Israeli, the Hezbollah launched a missile toward one of the Israeli bases, and we responded. Right now it seems that it's under control. I really hope that Hezbollah will not make the mistake and join this fighting, because I think it will be a huge mistake from their behalf.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday that we can expect an unprecedented response and that will be a long, long war. What do you believe that the next days will bring to this conflict?
I think it's important to understand that this is a war. It's a terror attacks that were launched toward Israel deliberately in order intentionally to kill as many civilians as they can, and that's what they've been trying to do. And they've been able to kill and murder many Israelis, civilians who were just trying to celebrate the holiday of Simchat Torah last weekend, and took under hostages people, men, women, elders, babies, took them all into Gaza Strip. We need to do whatever we can in order, first of all, to make sure that those fightings will end. Secondly, to bring back our hostages back home. And thirdly, to make sure that this kind of actions by this terror organization will never happen again.
Do you believe there is broad national support to a long war right now in Israel?
I think there is broad national support, international support to Israel, because the democratic world, those who believe in the democratic values, understand that we are fighting their war as well. We're fighting against extremists, we're fighting against terrorists, and that's why I think the world is united behind Israel to make sure that we will win in this war. We cannot let terror win.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe there will be a land invasion in Gaza by Israel, by the defense forces of Israel?
I'm not a military guy, and I'm not sitting right now in the cabinet.
That is reunited today. The defense minister and all the cabinets are reunited and deciding
That's
what
right.
they'll
the
do.
Cabinet will have to sit and to find the best solution in order to make sure that the goals that I've mentioned will be achieved.
This attack happened on the 7th of October, Yom Kippur. This is not a coincidence, of course, and this makes us believe that this attack had been planned for a long time. Do you think this? Do you think that they planned this with by the timing, the kind of attack? More than 100 Hamas went undercover in Israel. This was a planned thing for a long time.
I don't know regarding the timing, but I know for sure that this kind of attack cannot be spontaneous. It's something that was planned, and it's something that Hamas by itself cannot do it by itself. It needs to get support from somewhere. And I have no doubt that they got this support from somewhere. This somewhere is Iran. As you know, Iran, their main goal is to create this stability all over the world, in Europe, in Latin America, and in the Middle East, and of course in Israel. And that's why they support Hezbollah in the north. They support all those militants against Israel in Syria, and they support the Islamic Jihad and Hamas in the Gaza border. And that's what they've been trying to do, and support Hamas by making sure that they will have the funding, they will have the weapons and the trainings. And that's why, if there is one thing that the world needs to keep fighting against, is the Iranian involvement in everything bad that is going on around the world right now. In Ukraine, in Latin America, in Europe, in terror attacks, in human rights in Tehran, and also in Israel.
Yes, and that was one of my questions that I wanted to ask you. Do you believe that we can have an escalation of this conflict going to different Middle East parts? For example, we have Hezbollah in Lebanon, as we know, as you said, they are supported by Iran. We also have the situation in Syria. Do you believe that this crisis can get even bigger?
Look, I think this crisis, it's not about getting bigger because we fight against terror organization. Terror organization has no borders. He has no, it's not about the land, it's about ideology. And we fight ideology. And this ideology is not only on the border of the Gaza Strips. We see it all over the world. And that's why we need to be united and fight against that. I hope that Israel will manage to finish it in our border, but the fight is much larger than that. It's a fight that we've been fighting for many, many years, not only us, also the US, also Portugal, also Brazil. Everybody is fighting this war against terror. And that's something that we, unfortunately, will keep doing until our values will win. And I believe in our values.
The international community asks for a diplomatic way. Is it still possible by this time to go and to go for that diplomatic way, a diplomatic situation, or no?
Right now, when we have more than 350 Israelis that have been murdered, and we have tens of Israelis being held in the Gaza Strip, I don't think it's time to talk about diplomatic solution. Mm-hmm. It's time to talk about finishing it and making sure that the Israeli people will feel safe again. That's the only goal.
Do you believe that this attack was also to undermine the relationship between Israel and Saudi Arabia? That is getting better, and we have a lot of agreements that are coming right now. Do you believe that this had that objective, or and will it undermine something or no?
I don't get into the Hamas way of thinking. I think that Hamas decided to go ahead with this attack with not even considering what's going on around them. Because if you look, for instance, what Israel has been doing in the last few months in the Gaza Strips, we were looking and working together with the Palestinians in order to make sure that they will get more reliefs, that we get more elements that will enter the Gaza Strip in order to assist the Palestinian people. And the Hamas, they don't care about that. They don't care about their people. They don't care about the region. The only thing they care about is to kill as many Israelis as they can. That's the only thing that leads them. And I think that's exactly the ideology that we need to fight.
Mm-hmm. And now talking about the situation on site, I saw yesterday that a lot of hospitals are, of course, having difficulties asking for blood donations and everything. Can you tell us more or less how is the situation, the humanitarian situation with a lot of people wounded and everything? How are you dealing with this in your country right now?
I think we should admire the Israeli resilience and the Israeli way how in times like that, times of war, time of crisis, we're all united. And it's pretty heartwarming to see the amount of Israelis that are volunteering, making sure that they are helping our brothers and sisters in the south, making sure that they are donating blood and doing whatever they can in order to assist in this conflict right now. And we will keep doing that because this is our way.
Mm-hmm. We know that there are some Portuguese tourists that were in Israel. They were not wounded. But anyway, do you have any information of Portuguese or Brazilian citizens that are on site and that had any problems with this attack?
So we are in contact, of course, with the authorities and their embassies in Israel. Every tourist or every resident of other country that is in Israel and needs some kind of assistance, either to leave or to move to a different place, can approach its embassy, can approach the numbers that are being given in Israel, and we give any assistance that we can.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that this will somehow make the foreign citizens living in Israel try to go back to their countries, this fear of what can happen in the next times?
Again, I don't know. Everybody is entitled to its own way of thinking. I can only say that Israel is a great country to live in. And, it's a country that people on a daily basis enjoying their living over there. And I'm sure those good times will come back to Israel as soon as possible because this is the goal of the government, this is the goal of the IDF, to make sure that normality will come back to the citizens of Israel as soon as possible, and the citizens of Israel will feel safe. Either it's citizens, tourists, whoever is in Israel.
Mr. Ambassador, I'm done with my questions. Thank you very much for your time. Do you have any messages for the people that are watching us in Israel?
אז לכל האחים והאחיות שלנו בדרום הארץ ובעוטף עזה, גם מרחוק, אנחנו שולחים לכם חיבוק חם, ומאוד מעריכים ומעריצים את היכולת שלכם להתמודד בימים הקשים האלה, וביחד כולנו, מחוץ לישראל ובתוך ישראל, נעבור את הזמנים הקשים האלה. תודה רבה לכם.